Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I continue my series on farmer protests. A lot of people have written to us asking us, why does a farmer expect to be subsidized or to be guarded by MSP? Why does he expect the government to guard him? Why does the taxpayer have to take the burden, pay the burden of MSP? And let me answer this question to you today, because MSP not just helps the farmer, it helps a common Indian. And we will explain to you why. That's my topic number one. My topic number two is, why do we get religion into everything? Why do we polarize almost every topic in this country? That's my topic number two. Let's get right into the show. Before I start my editorial, I will play a small clip from a farmer union leader, Gurnam Chaduni. He is from Bharatiya Kisan Union, Haryana. This is what he had to say, and then we will take this conversation further. Just hear this.
सभी साथियों को नमस्कार। साथियों, एक बात बीजेपी बहुत फैला रही है कि हम एमएसपी देंगे, एमएसपी देंगे, एमएसपी नहीं तोड़ रहे हैं। बार बार इनके मंत्री ये बयान दे रहे हैं, इन्होंने कान पका दिए हमारे। लेकिन मैं आपको इसका स्पष्टीकरण देना चाहता हूं। हमारी 8 तारीख शाम को जो मीटिंग हुई थी माननीय अमित शाह से जो मीटिंग हुई थी, उसमें मैंने ये क्वेश्चन किया था कि अमित शाह जी, आप ये बताइए कि आप 23 फसलों का एमएसपी तय करते हैं, क्या आप 23 की 23 फसलें आप पूरे देश से एमएसपी पे खरीदने के लिए तैयार हो? उन्होंने क्लियर जवाब दिया था कि नहीं खरीद सकते। 17 लाख करोड़ रुपया बनता है, हम नहीं खरीद सकते। बिल्कुल क्लियर उन्होंने जवाब दिया। मैंने उनको ये भी आगे से जवाब दिया कि 17 लाख करोड़ तो कुल कीमत है, आप जो बेचोगे वो बेचोगे भी तो आपको 2 लाख का घाटा होगा, 3 लाख करोड़ का घाटा होगा, इतना तो आप बर्दाश्त कर सकते हैं। लेकिन उन्होंने साफ तौर पे मना किया है। और आज कृषि मंत्री केंद्र का फिर बयान दे रहा है, मीडिया में बैठ के बोल रहा है कि नहीं, हम एमएसपी जारी रखेंगे। सारे बीजेपी वाले बोलते हैं एमएसपी जारी रखेंगे। आपको गुमराह करना चाहते हैं। ये ऐसे एमएसपी जारी रखेंगे, ये कहते हैं हम जितना पहले खरीद रहे हैं उतना ही हम आगे खरीदते रहेंगे, और जितना पहले खरीदते हैं उसमें हमारा गुजारा नहीं है। अब की बार मक्का आया, बिहार में 800 रुपए बिका, हरियाणा में 1011 रुपए बिका। अगर ये एमएसपी पे बिकता तो 1 एकड़ में 20,000 का और फालतू निकलता। और ये हरियाणा में धान और गेहूं ही तो खरीद रहे हैं, या पंजाब में, और पूरे देश में तो खरीद नहीं रहे। बिहार में कहां से धान खरीद रहे हैं, यूपी में कहां से धान खरीद रहे हैं? तो ये देश को गुमराह कर रहे हैं। ये केवल उतना खरीदेंगे जितना इनका पीडीएस में पीले कार्ड वालों के पास बांटना है। केवल उतना एमएसपी पे खरीदेंगे, एमएसपी घोषित करेंगे, लेकिन खरीदेंगे नहीं। ये अमित शाह ने क्लियर कर दी। जो बीजेपी बोल रही है वो सफेद झूठ बोल रही है। ये मैं जानकारी आपको देना चाहता था। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
So what he says here is, he spoke to the Home Minister, and the Home Minister said, listen, you know what, we cannot give you a net buyback guarantee of 17 lakh crores. The country cannot afford it. He said, listen, you don't have to give a buyback of 17 lakh crores because obviously you're going to use a lot of that. You're going to sell a lot of that. So possibly you may have a loss of around 1 to 2 to 3 lakh crores, which is something that the country, the government should bear. This is the long and short of the discussion. Now the fact is, what the Home Minister said is correct. There is a buyback and the government will have to spend that 17 lakh crore, and yes, the union leader is also correct when you say that a lot of it they distribute it in the public distribution system, which is your ration shop, and they distribute it and they sell it. So a lot of it is sold. So yes, there still may be a deficit of a lakh, 2 or 3 lakh crores. There still may be a deficit. So the conversation is absolutely correct. Now, what happens? Why should the government of India take the hit of that 1 or 2 lakh or 3 lakh crores? Why should we take that hit? Why can't the farmers not diversify as it is widely told? Why can't they diversify and, plant other crops, or plant other cash crops and ensure they don't have to depend on MSP? Why can't they do that? Now, let us understand a very clear definition of MSP. Why was MSP introduced in 1966-67? Why was it introduced? MSP was introduced because to save the farmers from sharp decline in prices. So if there is bumper crop of wheat, the prices should not crash down that the farmer would have to burn his wheat. The prices should not crash down. The prices should not crash down to an extent where the farmer doesn't even meet the expenses that he had met with to farm the product. So that is why the MSP was introduced. And I told you, from a country where we were importing 10 million tons of grains to a country that today has 97 million tons lying with Food Corporation of India. The point is, why do we have to put this money? Coming back to the question. It is not just to ensure that the farmer is taken care of. It is also to ensure that the last common denominator, a poor man in India can get food on the table. Because it is these grains that go to the ration shop, and it is from that ration shop that a poor man gets his food at a subsidized price. Gets his basic grains as a subsidized price. Now mind you, MSP is only for 23 crops. And I will tell you those 23 crops before I go ahead with my story. Those 23 crops are 7 cereals: paddy, wheat, maize, sorghum, pearl millet, barley and ragi. 5 pulses, which is gram, tur, moong, urad and lentil. 7 oil seeds, which is groundnut, rapeseed mustard, soya bean, sesame, sunflower, safflower, niger seeds. And 4 commercial crops, which is copra, sugarcane, cotton and raw jute. Most of these crops are essential crops. Most of these crops are distributed through public distribution system. Now imagine a situation. Imagine a situation, we remove MSP. The crops, you have a bumper crop. The prices of the crop falls sharply. The next time, the farmer will decide, I will not grow wheat. And the next time around, there is a huge shortage of wheat. Wheat will have to be imported. Which means, how is that wheat going to be distributed through the public distribution system? What will be the cost of that wheat? And who in this country will be able to afford that wheat? So, before we say that, kyun chahiye MSP, why MSP, how MSP and all that, we need to understand that MSP not only helps the farmer, like I said, it also helps to get food on the table of an average Indian. So, that cannot be forgotten. Now, let us understand who are we talking about. You see, what prosperity are we giving our farmers? Do you know the richest agricultural state in this country is Punjab? We all know it. The average income of a farmer in Punjab, this data is thanks to Business Today and it was a fantastic data. The average income of a farmer annually is 2,16,708 rupees, which means an average income of a family, a farming family, is 18,000 rupees, 18,059 rupees in Punjab, the richest state. The richest agricultural state in the country. The second richest state is Haryana, where it is 14,439 rupees per month, which is 1,73,208 rupees annually. You know what an average Indian farmer earns a month? An average Indian farmer earns 6,429 rupees a month. That is what he takes home. 6,427 rupees, my apologies, is what he takes home, because his average earning is 77,124 rupees. How can a man survive How can a family survive? A family of 4 or 5 survive with 6,124 rupees? Pray tell me. And in this, you are expecting him to take risk. You are expecting him to plan, think, plant, and then if he goes into losses, still go and plant next time around. How are you expecting him to work without being given some kind of a support? Indian farmers, unlike Brazilian farmers and American farmers and Australian farmers, don't earn in lakhs. In fact, they hardly earn in lakhs and per annum. They earn a very meager amount, meager profits. So in that meager profits, expecting them to take risks, expecting them to experiment, expecting them to diversify is foolishness. Is foolishness. And for others who believe that MSP is something that we are donating to our farmers or we are being benevolent to our farmers, if it wasn't for MSP, chances are your 1 kilo rice would cost you 300 rupees tomorrow. You be ready for that too. The last point that I want to cover in my first bit is the government has been saying that possibly removal of APMC would be good for the farmers. You see, it will have a positive effect on their income. This is what the government has been saying. Now, that is not entirely true. Not entirely true on 2 counts. Count number 1 is, you see, this was practiced in Bihar. In 2005, Nitish Kumar, when he took over as the chief minister, repealed the APMC, that is the Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee. He repealed that and he made it open market. So he told the Bihari farmers that you can go and sell it wherever you want, no problem. Now what has happened is 94% of Bihari farmers, actually their condition worsened after 2005, which I told you. 3,557 rupees is what an average Bihari farmer gets, average Bihari farming household gets in a year, in a month, which is the lowest in the country. Had removing of APMC and removing of MSP, if it would have made a difference, then these farmers would have been better off. But it is not. It is actually bad. Bihar was selling paddy for rupees 900 to 1000 rupees a quintal, where the rest of the country was selling with an MSP was selling at 1868 rupees. So the fact is, a Bihari farmer had to sell his paddy at almost half the price of what the rest of the country was selling, or the country or the states which practiced MSP was selling. So that is precisely why the farmer's condition in Bihar is like this. So that's my first point. My second point I am not going to make. My second point will be made by Mr. Arun Jaitley, late Mr. Arun Jaitley, in one of his speeches in the parliament. Just hear this speech.
आपकी सारे तर्क का आधार ये है कि आज बाजार में बहुत सारे मिडलमैन हैं, बिचौलिए हैं। वॉलमार्ट प्रत्यक्ष रूप से किसान के पास जाएगा और जब प्रत्यक्ष रूप से किसान से सामान खरीदेगा, बिचौलिए हट जाएंगे और इसलिए किसान को उसका दाम ज्यादा मिलेगा। आप अमेरिका और यूरोप के किसान की स्थिति देखिए। वहां तो 20-30 साल से ये लोग हैं। वहां के किसान को तो इन्होंने मालामाल कर दिया होता अभी तक। उनका किसान तो बहुत एफ्लुएंट होता, क्योंकि बड़े बड़े स्टोर वहां हैं, प्रत्यक्ष रूप से किसान से खरीदते हैं और सारा का सारा पैसा जो बिचौलिए की जेब में जाता था, वो बिचौलिए की जेब में न जाकर अब किसान की जेब में जाएगा। यूरोप और अमेरिका अपने किसान को जीवित रखने के लिए $400 बिलियन सालाना सब्सिडी उस किसान को देते हैं। $400 बिलियन सब्सिडी आज भारत के रुपए के साथ ट्रांसलेट कर लिया जाए तो 6,000 करोड़ रुपया प्रतिदिन देते हैं यूरोप और अमेरिका अपने किसान को, क्योंकि किसान को बाजार में भाव नहीं मिल रहा। तो क्या हुआ, इन बड़े इंटरनेशनल चेन्स ने किसान की क्या परिस्थिति कर दी कि वहां के वित्त मंत्री में तो इतनी क्षमता थी और उसकी जेब इतनी गहरी थी कि वहां से पैसे निकाल के किसानों में बांट देता। तो जिस दुनिया के में यह अनुभव लागू किया गया, वहां किसान को जीवित रखने के लिए फॉर द सस्टेनेंस ऑफ दैट फार्मर यू हैव टू गिव $400 बिलियन एवरी ईयर टू दैट फार्मर. तो क्या कारण है कि ये एक्सपेरिमेंट वहां तो चला नहीं, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान में बड़ा सफल हो जाएगा?
So this is the point that I wanted to make. While I say again and again, I think the government and the farmers should talk, and I want to believe that they will soon reach an agreement. I am very positive about that. They will reach an agreement. But you see, a lot of problems that have been spoken about by the farmers are real problems. Let us not, under the guises of Khalistan and communism and Congress agents and all, let's not brush these under the carpets. These are real issues, and we need to understand that there are real issues that the farmers are facing currently. So that's the point I wanted to make. That's my topic number 1. Now let's get into my topic number 2. There is a gentleman called Amit Malviya. Amit Malviya is a BJP leader. I don't know whether he's senior or junior, I don't know the hierarchy, but he's a BJP leader. He is the head of BJP IT cell, so I presume he is a very influential BJP leader. In one of his tweets, he mentions that those speaking about Sikh Muslim unity, which is replete of historic rancor to justify protest, must know that the statue of Maharaja Ranjit Singh placed outside Haveli of Rani Jindan at Lahore Fort has once again been vandalized in Pakistan. This was his tweet. Now, what do we understand out of this tweet? Should we say that he is upset that there is unity between the Sikh and the Muslims? Should we say that? Two people of our country, Sikhs and Muslim, if they got together, if they want to be friends, does he have a problem? That's my question number 1. My question number 2 is by saying that in Pakistan, Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji's statue was vandalized. What is he arriving at? Is he saying that because Pakistanis did it, so therefore Indian Muslims are responsible for that? Is that what this means? What I fail to understand is how are these kind of people allowed to make such claims under the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership? Why doesn't the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership stop such people from making such claims and making such statements? These statements don't even make sense. Don't even make sense. It's as if me saying, oh, Jews and Christians are getting along very well. So what? So what if they are? If Muslims and Sikhs are getting along good, nice for this country, what's wrong with him? And comparing Indian Muslims to Pakistanis, I think is the biggest disservice that a person can do to our country and to our countrymen. And I'm sure this doesn't fit into the narrative of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas or Sabka Vishwas. Definitely doesn't fit into that narrative. Then what is he saying? A lot of you viewers who are watching us have not subscribed to us. I would humbly request you to subscribe to our channel. Help us grow. Help us reach more people. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.